Here on the main stage, I see our friends from Finland. Good morning to you guys. Good morning, Juha. Good morning, Ilkka. You're going to be talking to us about the transformation of the KONE Corporation. So thank you so much and have a great session. I'll see you in half an hour.
Thank you, Roberto. So good morning, Europe. Good afternoon, Asia and Oceania. Good night, Americas. I'm Juha Tammi from Lean Association of Finland and honored to introduce the next speaker, Ilkka Ikonen, Director, Lean KONE Program and Continual Improvement Office. The company KONE recently received the yearly Lean Award for their Lean transformation. So very eager to hear the case. Ilkka, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for kind introductions and hello also from my side. And I will just do the magic here and start the presentation and just wanting to get the confirmation. I believe it's now showing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So thanks all for joining this session. Happy to be here and sharing the experiences what we have at KONE Corporation learned from the developing Lean across the company. We have a very nice kind of a vision for our Lean program, making the best use of our time. Very touching for everybody, regardless of what is the nature of the job. Let me start and get going. There's the agenda starting, and let's go forward. I will be focusing a lot on the practical examples as well, and so on, giving a little bit of insight. What does it look like when you do leaning outside of factories? But before that, a little bit of the KONE as a company, who we are. Not the recent picture, I believe 113 years of history. Currently, over 100 years in business, a Finnish-based company, it's a leader in elevator and escalators. So our mission is that we make cities a better place to live. We as a consumers, we of course know the product. And we are there in the people flow business, so we want to emphasize the cities a better place to live. Founded, it's a Finnish-based, currently totally global, over 60,000 employees, and there's the size of the company about 10 billion, and listed in the Helsinki Nasdaq stock since 1967. Many of you hopefully have gotten a comfortable ride with the KONE elevators or escalators, and hopefully you can agree that they are the best on the market. Just about the structure of the company and also what is relevant when I will first then start to describe that what is Lean. It's actually in our business. We have organized us into 3 separate business segments. So when the building is under construction, so we are there to with our partners or with the main contractor or with the architects. We are developing the solutions for the needs of the building, if it's a residential building or airport or hotel or shopping center. It's in our new building solutions. Then we have the life cycle services. So after the initial installation and commissioning, then we have the life cycle services for the product or the elevators, escalators when they are in use. And then is the modernization. Naturally, when there are changes in the building use or when the equipment itself comes to the end of the life cycle, technical life cycle, or if there's a need of upgrading with for example, with digital services, then we have a business called modernization for that. So basically pretty straightforward, new building or service, life cycle maintenance, or then upgrading or modernization. And now the nature of all of these situations are totally different, and of course then also the scope of what the lean means in different environments is totally different, and we cannot go into this kind of environments with the cookie cut solution from the Toyota playbooks or any other applications, because these are the specific environments where our team members are working. So that means that we have to be then smart enough to develop that what is the waste and what is the lean in this kind of environments. We have a privilege of having a lean in our company strategy for this strategy period. It's a company likes to visualize many things, and often it's a one-pager, and this is, believe it or not, the full strategy what we have. And there we have under so-called ways to win, where we have our core operating model is so-called KONE way, and there we have a few topics, but then lean KONE is one of those for this strategic period. And that is then it's lifted up there based on the initial piloting and experiences when we first started to scope it. That how can we utilize the lean principles and lean methods so that naturally we have a very logical ambition for that, better value for customers and succeed our team members in every day. And that is then naturally is a one key element for our longer term strategic targets. But then getting a little bit under the hood and what does the program look like, and then the pictures here are the realities that if you think about the construction site, and when we are in the new business solutions and we are in the installing the elevator on the construction site or the escalator, so that that's the reality where our team members operate. Here, this other example is from the engineering and sales process mapping sessions in the modernization project. So where we are looking at how do we do the tendering process or engineering processes in a faster and smoother way, and so totally office oriented application of lean. A few pages of the generic program. Naturally, the top piece is pretty common. Then looking at the center part of the mission, what we have is that deep and wide continuous improvement capabilities throughout the company. So it's not dedicated for factories, or it's not dedicated to those separate businesses only or in dedicated countries, but our mission is to go it wide and deep. And that means that also that we are not entitled to have like only high experts or super gurus on the topic, but we need to be enhancing the skills and competencies on all levels. But we are getting there by naturally empowering teams and individuals to drive the improvements. And then, of course, we are looking for how does the value get delivered in a faster way. So not looking at the flow efficiency and not only the classical functional efficiency. And then looking at better and smarter ways of working. And this often comes into the cross-functional Kaizen events, which are pretty powerful, has been for us to develop leaning. Then here in the bottom part is that when we looking at our team, core teams, what do we do? How do we develop it? We are utilizing all the rabbits out of the hat. So we have, first of all, we have this so-called transformational model. So we have a model for going into a unit and having like a focused transformational approach to inject the basic leaning. Then we have the Kaizen events. Often we call it one-day Kaizen. And then we have naturally, we are utilizing the DMIC or Lean Six Sigma projects and different belt levels for those. Then we are very much the continual improvement as a system is a key part for keeping it alive. So that what is the role of the local leaders? What are the roles of the operations directors? What are the roles of supervisors? And how does this system then get into place and then in different environments? And that's really key element of where a lot of our core teams go, is that how do we get that system ongoing and get or connecting the dots in the best way. And then the third level is that how do we leave or put this into a place so that this is the expected way of managing and integrating into operating model. Eventually also into the culture, but the culture comes only with the practical steps before that happens. But we have all of that in our kind of radar when we are going forward with this. And really vision what the lean can bring for any team member or any of us. And really how do we form it came out really nicely, this best use of our time, and that resonates really well to anybody regardless of what is the nature of the work. And it also is a natural connection to the throughput time and the flow efficiency. And really nicely, there's a hidden point there that actually it is the time dimension and the using of the time for the efficiency improvements. The bullets, the bubbles, they are pretty standard thing. Maybe the uninterrupted flow is something highlighted a lot. That how does the workflow happen and how is the daily work, and are there interruptions and why do those happen? Those are naturally the moments of waste, and how do we get people to notice this and paying attention, and how to avoid it is a key part of our mission. Standardization of best practice, standard ways of working is the normal terminology, but we have formulated nowadays more and more it as the standardization of best practice within the team. Company, like many other companies, are expecting standards to come only from the top down. And of course, we do have methods and installation methods and tools and so on in place. But then there's so much more that happens in the daily work. And this is now really the standardization of best practice within the teams is resonating really well with the operatives and technicians. That when somebody has the best practice, that how do we ensure the standardization of it? And a little bit of provoking here that it's not the sharing of best practice, but it's actually the job of the supervisor is to standardize it. So if it is the best practice, then everybody is hold on to that bar and gets to work according to that best practice. Okay, few things about the landscape and focus for our journey. We have the dots there on the landscape are the manufacturing or R&D sites in different continents, and there we have a pretty good old practitioners of leaning in the different environments. For example, on the production sites, we have lean at factories has been around for the last maybe 15 years, and kind of old practitioners on that. We naturally are looking for improvements over there as well, but it's not a new topic there. The other part is that in the R&D, lean agile methods have been in heavy use for the last maybe 5 years, and it's now really getting, and it's a standard way of working, the agile methods and the ways of organizing R&D work. Yeah, both equipment and the software. So we actually, when we are thinking of physical elevator or escalator, that is what we see but there's a huge amount of natural software that goes into it. And that's it. So the agile is in both physical and the software R&D. But now the yellow box here is that this new thing, and this is that how are we developing lean in totally new operations where there's practically no prior experience of leaning, or if there is some, it's maybe coming from some individuals who worked in the other companies earlier, but it has not been the strongest focus earlier times in the construction industry in general, and then in our field operations. And of course, we know our customer companies are lean construction is a big theme, and our customers are practicing and learning what it means. So we are also following that bandwagon, which has been helping here since the timing is good for us to take these steps also forward. But we need to be making it to fit our needs. So what does it mean for so-called lean site, a new elevator installation or service? What is the maintenance, field operations, or modernization? And then lean at office processes. And we have a big centers for back office services, business services in few locations globally. And there, of course, it's all about office work. And there we have had quite a good development for what does the lean mean in the daily work in the offices where people are handling maybe invoicing or SAP transactions and so on. So all of those have been the main focus when we talk about the transformation and program called Lean KONE. This kind of simple triangle or pyramid, to switching it around or tilting it upside down is actually a key element for overall in the company, that we put the focus on the value added and the lowest level in the organization. So these are just basically telling our hierarchy. The front line is a country, and then under the country we have a different, we call them regions. And then we are really with the lean, we are bringing in the focus first into the what does it mean on the regional level, and then focusing on how do the continual improvement happens there. And then we do have a mechanics of getting the improvements and the channels to the global portfolios and so on. But important to know also communicate this way, that in the lean, it's the solutions and the improvements are not top down, but naturally bottom up and focusing on the daily work. Few examples: installation, site operations. So coming from the, and you can imagine a construction site where our technicians are installing a elevator in a shaft. Often they are single man installations, so it's a one person installing over the 2 weeks period. Many like a five floor residential building. It's a 5 floor, 2 weeks or 3 weeks installation. So the many of these methods and routines need to be adapted to that kind of reality. What is lean, and you see here very familiar concepts. For example, go and see or Gemba visit, and then having a different viewpoint into there when we see visiting construction sites. Then we have naturally digitalization, and the mobile phone app is coming into the picture, so that we are able to improve the communication, that what happens in the daily reality, and the supervisor, because supervisors are not able to visit the sites all the time. They maybe have 15 sites, and the radius could be 100 kilometers easily. So it's really the digitalization and how do we develop these applications to serve the best for the daily work. Really important, and we have been now putting here, for example, on the driver's seat for the development is the technician's success on the daily work, and not to try to develop something in the isolation. But then from the service side, a few examples that when we're looking at the one very practical tool is that when supervisors, when we did this kind of analysis of how do the supervisors, so one level above the technicians, how do they spend their time? We use this kind of a week in life of methodology, really powerful way of finding out how is the work day spent and what do the supervisors do. Here also in our business, supervisors are not only doing that what they like in the factories, but they have a huge amount of other tasks and not only looking at technicians. Technicians are very independent, doing they scheduled routes, and supervisors are not there present at the same place, and they have many other tasks. And this WILO is really eye-opening to find out what are the pain points and what is the share of the value added and non-value added time in their weekly life. And that leads into a new way of organizing the so-called leaders standard work. This is the textbook definition. So how do we protect the value added time and inject into the weekly calendar those important the huddle meetings and so on with the technicians, so one-to-one feedback sessions. And they need to be in the calendar, otherwise they just wouldn't happen because there's so much other things eating away the time. And then it has been a really positive development what happens when we organized and help and support the supervisors to manage their week time better. Then I took these examples. It's an illustration of the waste. What does the waste mean in a technician's life? And gives you the idea of the uniqueness and the difficulty of applying. Of course, this is a waste, the deadly waste of waiting or transportation. But the practical problem was that we have a mobile app. These technicians are they are probably in Sweden somewhere. They have a mobile phone app for paying the parking fees when they need to park the van when they go to the city center. But it just happened that somebody in the headquarters had made a contract that it's only valid for one mobile phone parking app. And then that led into the situation that technicians need to drive around the blocks and look for a parking spot that is then can be used with that app. And then obviously it was not a big topic to be opening that flexibility. It was not a complex topic, but this kind of conversation never happens unless we organize this kind of lean and focusing on the waste of the technician. It wouldn't happen otherwise. And now what happens is that naturally the technicians have a better use of their time, and they are able to find the parking spots very much more efficiently. So the definition of waste and what does it mean in the different jobs has been a really interesting journey overall. And a little bit of coming kind of back to the roadmap and next steps, and I'm here showing our trainings offering, and just as maybe for anybody when planning your programs, that we focused a lot on the e-learnings and very basics. At the beginning, we need to be, it's all employee 15 minutes e-learning has been the starting point that what we have been developing. So really introductions and only giving the basic awareness what lean is and that they are encouraged to contribute. And then when we go more into the competence development, we have like a focus in this lean coaches about Kaizen event training, and then a few other e-learnings, and then the classical belt trainings, really bread and butter for the development. And then we also have this kind of leader awareness training for any leader to get to know that what is expected from them, so that we have covered all dimensions of the competence development, and which then supports the management of change. And then going forward, we are looking at next phases. We are many things in our routines are still not up to the current capabilities of Office automation, Office 365 and Power App and so on. So we are digitalizing many of our routines. Then we are also getting into other programs. So we have, of course, other large programs, and we are collaborating there and injecting the basic lean into there. And naturally going more and more into the kind of putting this into the longer term routines of company. And then at the bottom, our core team task is a lot of dialogue and coaching and navigating and discussing that what does it mean for team leaders and team members and team leaders, that how can they inject that into their agenda. And that would have been my last page of this presentation. I think this would be now a good moment if there were any questions or comments coming.
Thank you very much, Ilkka. Yes, there is at least one question already. You can put some more. We have some time. The first question is, how do you run different activities when there is a need to engage people from various countries? Are sessions primarily done on-site, or are you running sessions also online? What's your experience of those pros and cons?
Yes, difficult. The digital and these virtual workshops and so on are difficult. Let's put that on the table. We are all the time trying out different versions and different tools what we have, and how to keep member participants engaged and really get them thinking all the time. The experience is that they work, but the scope must be very focused and very fast paced. So very active model leading of them are needed, and they cannot be complex topics. But yes, we have tried them, and they work when set up and the topic is small and not the big one.
Good, thank you. You had a very big transformation here. What would you do differently if you know what you know now in the beginning?
Two things maybe from that. The overall importance of communication, absolutely, can never emphasize that enough. And then is that what is it for leaders? So in different, more concretely early on explaining what is the benefit, what do leader gets from it, and different levels of the leaders, and not there. I'm really not saying the top leaders of the business or so, but really going into the operations leaders in the close to the operational teams, that what is it for me, creating that kind of messaging early on.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ilkka. I think our time is up.
Thank you very much, guys. It is. Thank you very much, Juha. Thank you very much, Ilkka, for sharing your story. Great to have you both here, and wishing you a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.